is ticking. Just a few minutes till 5. Andrea taps her foot impatiently as she waits for it to be time for her to leave this hellhole she calls work. The longest part of her day is always these last 10 minutes of her shift at the diner, and she can hear her bed calling her name from all the way across town. She longs for the day where she doesn't have to worry about getting table 22 their 4th round of refills, or forgetting that one rude lady with the orange hairs ranch. As she's counting her tips, Andrea looks down at her phone to check the time when she sees a message on her phone. Still on for 6 o'clock. Can't wait to see you in that pretty little red dress, dear. She rushes, finishing up counting the rest of her tips that provide nothing but humility in this very moment. Fuck, I forgot about this guy. She whispers to herself as she places her cash in her bag. Her French tip acrylic nails make a loud tapping sound as she frantically clocks out to leave. She hurries to her car and makes her way home. When she gets home, she immediately peels her clothes off and starts looking for her crimson, tight nightgown. She puts on some mascara and some brown eyeshadow to give herself a seductive look, finishing off the look with some lip gloss. She takes another look at the time. 6 p.m. on the dot. Any minute now, she whispers to herself. All of a sudden, Andrea gets a FaceTime call from her MacBook. Andrea's heart starts pumping so much blood. You would have thought she just competed in the Olympics. Fuck. Andrea pauses and takes a deep breath before getting into character. She clicks the green button to pick up. To her surprise, the man on the other side of the screen is strikingly attractive. A man with deep green eyes and tan skin starts to speak. Hello, princess. Oh my god, you're even more gorgeous than I thought. Andrea blushes but does her best to remain focused on the task at hand. Thank love. She leans in closer to the camera, making sure to show just enough cleavage to keep the man enticed. Wow, I can't wait to see what's underneath that little red dress you got on. Why don't you take it off for me? Andrea lets out a slight chuckle. Not so fast, babe. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Men are the lamest and easiest creatures on the planet to her. So eager to do anything just to calm their sexual urges. Take this man, for example. He stumbled across her ad and immediately purchased a session within only 20 seconds of viewing her profile. No wife, no kids. Young, rich, he had everything a man would need to find a date, or so Andrea thought. But that's not important, she reminds herself. What's important now is to give this guy the show he wants, so that her ratings and reviews don't plummet. I've been so excited to see you, and from the looks of your pants I think you're even more excited. The man looks down at his groin, where you can see a visible imprint of the boner he can't conceal. After some flirtatious banter with the man, Andrea finally starts to give him what he wants. She slowly starts to peel the straps from her nightgown off the sides of her shoulders, lowering the top part just enough to get a slight glimpse of her nipples, before she pulls it back up to hide them. She loves a good teasing moment. It keeps the clients on the edge of their seats, among other things they're already on the edge of. After doing this 2 more times, she fully slips the gown to the floor, leaving her in just a little red thong. Oh my god, moans the man, who at this point is starting to unbuckle his work pants. Andrea rubs on her boobs and nipples as she watches him pull out his throbbing dick. She tries to keep her eyes as seductive as possible, while noticing that it's so big, she would probably need a wheelchair after a night with him. Her hands move to the sides of her boobs, where she pushes them together and gives them a little jiggle. This makes the man start moaning every cuss word imaginable. When it's a hot customer like this, Andrea usually keeps her cool, but this man is so attractive that even she is starting to get hot. She turns around and moves her hips, bending over just enough for the man to see the outline of her pussy. Fuck baby, look how wet you're getting. I wish I was there to clean it all up with my tongue. Just the thought of this has Andrea over the edge now. Normally she doesn't meet up with her clients. However, if given the opportunity, Andrea would let him do things to her that she never let her good for nothing ex-boyfriend of for years do. She moves her camera from her desk to her bed, where she gets down on all fours and starts to arch her back, making sure the angle makes her ass look good. The more this man speaks, the more she wants to do things she's never done for clients. She begins slipping off her underwear as her legs are in the air, making sure her vagina is in view of the camera. This makes the man start stroking his dick a little bit faster, and his moans start to get louder and louder. The way his moans echo in her head make her lose control. She pulls out her dildo and starts teasing him with it. She kisses the dildo, making sure to kiss and lick every inch of it. She gets the dildo and starts to slowly inch it down her throat. Once she has all of it in her mouth, the man lets out a grunt she hadn't yet heard before during the session. The grunt didn't sound like a moan, and at this point Andrea was just having fun hearing the man moan. She wasn't really focused on giving him the show he wanted anymore. However, this grab took her by surprise, so she sat up and looked at the screen. Andrea dropped the dildo she was holding and let out a scream. On the other side of the screen was a different man wearing a mask, stabbing her client with a knife. She watched in horror as the killer approached the camera and took his mask off. Luis, what the fuck? Her ex-boyfriend sets the mask down, taking a seat where the man he just killed was once seated. Yeah. Whatever. That guy was a fucking loser anyway. And why the fuck have you never showed me your pussy on camera? All those times I stayed in Jersey, you never once let me see. Andrea rolled her eyes. Well, that's because I don't show pussy for free, dumbass. Luis scoffed. Oh, whatever. Here. He picks up the man's phone, and Andrea gets a Cash App notification on her phone for $1,000 from Theo Martin. Now, can I see? Andrea lets out a sigh. Get help. She hangs up the phone and proceeds to order her Amazon wishlist. I guess he's good for something sometimes. Ooh, but that guy was cute though. She sighs to herself and clicks order.